5 Diepsloot community members accused of killing 7 people in a mob justice attack will remain behind bars until court resumes on the 18th of December. They made their second appearance at the Randburg Magistrate's Court earlier today. Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala is standing by to speak to a community member. Nqobile Madlala, yesterday we also heard from the Police Commissioner of Gauteng, Elias Mawela, saying it is community members who are, he accused them of being slumlords or landlords to people who are not necessarily from South Africa, which he says fuels crime in the area.
Well, yes, Tutu. In fact, it is indeed one of those things that he has highlighted, as well as the fact that they're working very hard to try and eradicate and take out crime in the area. But they also felt that there's quite a lot that needs to come to the party to assist. This is including other departments to come and assist them with that, including Home Affairs as well, to take their part really in that fight against the crime in Diepsloot. So yes, the 5 did in fact appear before court today, and the case was postponed. We understand that it's going to be moved from the trial court into Court 9, where Court 9 will then decide when they can hear bail application. But of course, there was community members that were here at the foyer that were here to support some of those community leaders, community members appearing before court as well. And they were kind of hoping to take them home, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon, at least. So I want to bring in now the community leader. And I mean, Lifa, for you, you've been here as a community leader supporting the community, but you've also been here because of the fact that you were also a community leader that was once arrested because of what had taken place in Diepsloot. Perhaps tell us how the community feel today, having been unable to take those leaders with them home.
Very, very much disappointed, Mama. Even though we understand the processes of the court, we are inside, we hear the reason behind the postponement. But we hoped to take them home today because, remember, these are family people, you know, the husbands to some other people, fathers to the kids. You know, the family are very much distressed, you know, without them back home. So it's a bit disappointing. Yes.
And I mean, we understand that this case obviously is going to be postponed to get to another court, to get a date, which means this is actually going to take some time. How do you feel about that?
Very, very sad about it, you know. Hence I'm saying, as sad as we are, there's nothing that we can do because these are the processes of the court. We must comply, we must follow them. As leaders and community of Diepsloot will be here observing the processes to the end, because remember, we are here to support them as the suspect at this stage, you know, up until to the end. But as the community members, we are very much, you know, we are a distressful community that is hopeless, angry at the same time. Because as you and I understand all these processes, but going back to Diepsloot, there are people who don't understand all these processes. But for these people to be inside today, we still have a duty as these leaders to go back, explain it to them, so that ultimately community understands, so that we avoid the unrest that can happen unnecessarily.
How are things in Diepsloot at this very moment?
People are very angry. People are very sad. People are, you know, it's a mixture of feelings altogether. Because we even heard, you know, the General Mawela yesterday talking about Diepsloot. They spoke about the deployment of police, blah, blah. They had their own plan. But go and drive in the streets of Diepsloot today. It's like any other day. There's nothing that have changed. Police will see the normal police bikes that are always driven in the township. And since whatever happened in Diepsloot, not even a single government official who came and just to put an ear down to hear what are the feelings of the people. They cannot depend on the media themselves because they've been elected to represent our people. They must come on the ground and hear for themselves and see the situations of the people on the ground.
I mean, also what was said yesterday was that some of these guys that are seen to be leaders are some people that seems to be also on the wrong side of the law when they conduct or help these communities.
That is the situation, ma'am. And when you go to, you know, the cells, the prison cells, there's no way that you cannot find someone from Diepsloot there. Go to hospital. People of Diepsloot are there. In graveyards, people of Diepsloot are there. The social conditions of people of Diepsloot, it's worrisome because they found themselves in this situation because of the social conditions of Diepsloot. You know, how possible is that people in Diepsloot, they cannot be found on the wrong side of the law because they are confronted with difficult situations. Even though we are not condoning some of the things, but we must think positives and look at the root cause. What are the cost of all these things? And normal people can be able to do these things? No. But what are the costs? Why people, find themselves always committing this crime and found themselves on the wrong side of the law, found themselves doing wrong things always? Normal people can't do that. What is the problem? The government must intervene and find out.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. That is Lefankala. He's one of the leaders as well in the community of Diepsloot that had taken to the street a while back, and he was one of those leaders that was also arrested for being part of that. But now we are talking about those that are linked to the alleged mob justice that took place just earlier on in December. And of course the community just expressing its disappointment with the law at this very point, because they were hoping that some of these community members would be back home with their families. And also just to highlight that, they've also highlighted that they are in fact in communication with some of those community members and community families that were affected. That is of course the 7 that have passed away from that vigilantism that took place, alleged vigilantism that took place in Diepsloot.
Okay, thank you very much for that.